This season of the Urban Conservative Podcast is brought to you by Newton for Senate, working to improve education, reduce taxes, and keep North Carolina #1 for business. Find out more at newtonforsenate.com. This episode of the Urban Conservative has also been sponsored by Case Technology Consulting. Help your business get value out of its data and become more efficient and streamlined. Case Technology Consulting. Check out the link in the description. This episode of Top of the Morning is brought to you by Edward Jones financial advisor Kelly Harmon, providing you with well-researched guidance backed by Edward Jones' extensive team and technology that help you prepare for retirement, children's education, or other financial goals. Call 252-473-1006 or visit the link on the screen. All right. Ladies and gentlemen.
How you doing?
Ladies and gentlemen, well, I guess I'll do it. Welcome to Top of the Morning. You are checking out the best 30-minute morning show on the planet. I am Abdul Ali, joined by my twin brother, Raheem Architect Soto. If you have not done so already, like we ask you to do each and every morning, jump on over to tuconservative.com. Get yourself a membership. Help us keep spreading conservatism to urban areas across the country. You can get yourself a hat. You can get yourself a mug. You can get one of those Hamilton plans, which gives you access to our wonderfully curated news feed. That also gives you access to the blog. And you can also, like I said before, purchase some gear. We got an excellent work privilege hat, mug, and t-shirts and all that fun stuff that you can get. You can also sponsor an episode of The Urban Conservative. If you like the commercials you saw, we also ask that you support our underwriters and our sponsors. So again, shout out to Paul Newton, Kelly Harmon, and all of our good folks that support the Urban Conservative podcast platform and everything we got going on here. Good morning, bro. How are you?
I'm awake. We made it to see another day, which is an amazing thing. As we always say, bro, every day is an opportunity to become a better version of yourself and enjoy this wild ride we're on. And very interesting news today. Some interesting things we're going to cover. And I guess I'll just jump right into this because I'm out here in New York. I've been trying to tell people, because we hear that, oh, New York is such a blue place and New York is so blue, right? And this story we're going to talk about here with that's going on in Nassau County. First off, I don't like the new Project Veritas thing. I'm not a new fan of the new guy. I'll lay that out now. But that doesn't change the story being the story nonetheless, right? So what we got here, this is a Nassau County, right? Because I wanna make sure we get this clear, right? This is Nassau County Assistant Superintendent of Curriculum in East Meadow School District, Dave Casamento, saying that my sexual identity was always a part of my work because I believe in making connections with kids. Now, I don't want to draw too many inferences here, but I'm gonna need you, sir, to not say things like that. But anyway,
hold on. I'm a little confused.
Okay.
So I'm not a little, a lot confused here. My sexual identity was always part of my work. Was it really?
Yeah.
Because I believe in assistant superintendent. What kind of connections with kids are you talking about, bro?
Here's the video.
How you doing? James Lalino, Project Veritas. I'm a reporter for Project Veritas. You are the subject of an undercover investigation that we've been doing for a number of months now. We actually have you on camera here, sir, talking to one of our journalists, actually, who's an undercover reporter for Project Veritas. This is
what
you.
What are you doing? What's happening?
This is you speaking undercover.
Anti-racist work, like, do you encourage the anti-racist work to be put into your curriculum?
Covertly?
You admit...
Oh, guys.
So why are you, in every district in Nassau County, Mr. Casamento, you're putting DEI curriculum in covertly? Why is that?
guys. We're not putting it.
You admit that you're thinking you could hurt people. What'd you say? How do you sleep at night, sir?
I am political in every conversation I have.
If you get smacked out of the game, what good are you, Dave?
All right, so this DEI stuff, this diversity, equity, inclusion. I don't know, but it would appear that if we're talking about this man's sexuality, that he would probably be of a sexual orientation other than heterosexual. I mean, is that
All
safe
right.
to say?
Well. Here's my problem. All of you people on the left talking about there's no such thing as indoctrination happening in the classroom. Nobody's trying to get, sexualized children. Nobody's trying to put critical race theory in the classroom. Nobody. That is the evidence right there. His sexuality has been a part of his work from the very beginning. That's absolutely nuts.
Yeah. Well, here's the thing. These are the people. These are the
That's
people.
bonkers.
These are the people your school system and your folks are putting in place, right? That's a job. He hasn't admit. He's in a role, right? And if I would let me not mess up his role. Superintendent, right? He's he's entrusted with educating our the superintendent of curriculum. So at that point where his sexual identity has always been a part of his work, what does that have to do with math? What does that have to do with reading? What does that have to do with history? What
All right.
does the fact that you
All right.
like whatever you like have your sexual identity should have no bearing on 2 + 2, how to spell things, science, ionic and
bro.
covalent bonds. Where do you inject sexuality into the Civil War? Where do you inject it into the what bearing does what you like to do with poles and holes have to do with anything?
I don't know. And I am very bothered. But so here's my thing, right? Here's my thing. I get wanting equal opportunity. I don't think anybody is opposed to every person having an equal opportunity to succeed. I don't think anybody's opposed to that. But this idea of equity is a terrible idea. You're going to have a very hard time convincing me as a parent or any other parent that I know for that matter that their kid should just be promoted because they're black or their kid should be demoted because they're white. I also think this is dangerous when you say my sexual identity was always a part of my work because I believe in making connections with kids. I have watched enough of these predator videos to know, to read between the lines, bro.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
disturbing.
No, with all due respect, he got the Chris Hansen.
He got the vibe, bro. He got the vibe of somebody that's walking into the house. Have a seat over there vibe.
Yeah. Well, first off, before you go, let me tell you who I am. Well,
Oh man,
I have the chat here, and it looks. He looks like I no disrespect, sir. He does look. I don't know. There's a look. There's a look.
that's all I'm saying, bro. Is there is clearly a pedophilic, what do they call them? Maps a minor attracted person look.
That was the statement that a minor attracted person would make. My sexual identity was always part of my work because I believe in making connections with kids.
Yeah.
Now,
and the word connections is taking on a whole different definition for me right now.
Which is where we run into the problem because all of the words that precede connection lead to a very, very awkward place.
Right? I gotta point out something that you have on the screen. It says if you include sexual in any part of a sentence with kids, face the wall. I have to agree with that.
Whoever you are.
Shouts out to Laura Lindsay. She just checked in on us. Shouts out to Laura and Kyle. Laura is on the Cabarrus County School Board, and I can tell you, we wouldn't have any of this foolishness in Cabarrus County. You talk about my sexual identity as part what?
Yo, so again, we have to walk a fine line. We're gonna get on to the next story. We have to walk a fine line with what we say sometimes because people like this, right? And what I mean by people like this, right? If you're on camera making statements. And I'm noticing a pattern of homosexual men on, but like Project Veritas has something weird going on to me because they seem to be catching a lot of gay dudes in powerful positions.
Right.
Now, granted, this guy, I don't know for the record if this man is homosexual or not or bisexual, but a heterosexual man or
Never
people
says
would
what he just
never
says.
have to say that, like validate their sex, talk that out. So, it kind of wrapping this up and putting a button on this Nassau County, East Meadow, folks. I don't care about your political disposition. This is inappropriate. So I
Absolutely.
hope you guys investigate. We'll keep up with the story. We'll follow up with this in a few days and see how this unfolds. But good job, Project Veritas, even without James O'Keefe. Good job, guys, on that one. We're gonna take a quick commercial break and we're gonna come back with the best 30-minute morning show on the planet. Stay tuned. Hit the share button. We're gonna be right back. We talking about this 150 billion with a B. With a B. Billion. That went to who? Who gets that?
Just because you're black doesn't mean you have to vote Democrat. This year, in order to see benefits for our communities, we need to vote outside the box. Find out more by visiting us at tuconservative.com.
All right,
ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Top of the Morning. You're checking out the best 30-minute morning show on the planet. We're jumping into story number 2 for this morning. And
what do you want to go with?
$150 billion.
I said
that's a lot of money, bro. That's a lot of money.
Well,
who's
and
getting
only
this 150 billion?
There you go. Here's who's getting it right here. And this is annually.
Wow.
This is annually. So the 150 billion with a B is already 300 billion, right? 300 billion. Son, billion? Billion? Okay.
That's a lot of money, bro.
More than 15.5 million illegal aliens live in the United States today, costing us American taxpayers over this 150 billion annually. This is an analysis from the Federation for American Immigration Reform, FAIR estimates. The FAIR analysis estimates that taxpayers pay 182 billion in annual costs for illegal aliens at the federal, state, and local level. So all of this nonsense that, this doesn't affect us and it's not, listen, that cost is only minimally made up by illegal aliens contributing 32 billion to the economy, making the annual net cost more than 150 billion. Put this another way, illegal aliens and their U.S. born children are costing each taxpayer about $1,500 a year.
Hold on. I got a problem. I got a problem with that. You know what I could do with an extra $1,500 a year? Like, we say this, people say this, oh, it's only $1,500. I would gladly pay $1,500 to take care of another human being.
So come to my house. I need you on call with that $1,500. Each of you who feel like you don't mind giving up $1,500, I need your number.
Come on over this way.
I need you in the comment section.
Well, let me ask this question.
Finna send you some food orders.
Yeah, if it's an average of $1,500 per person, right? How much money are these people contributing to the economy? Because I'm also reading something.
We gave that number. So the illegal immigrants, I guess, wherever they're working or however they're contributing tax dollars, do about 30. What did it say? About 30 billion.
So we're still in the hole on this.
150 because they're spending 180. So we got $180 bill. They spending 180 billion a year. They only generate 30. So we on the hook for 150.
So you got to add another 150 billion to that number, though.
Why is that?
Not just the cost, but another FAIR report that was released back in July of 2019 says that the United States loses $150 billion annually in remittances. Most Americans know very little, if anything, about remittances, also known as remittance payments, and how they affect the U.S. economy. The term remittance refers to money earned in the United States that is transferred to relative friends or business associates who are still abroad. In 2015 analysis, the Census Bureau data by the Pew Research Center concluded that there are roughly 45 million foreign-born individuals currently living in the United States. Those individuals typically have a large network of family, friends, and colleagues abroad. When those associates residing in a country with an economy that is less robust than the U.S., there's a strong impetus to send money overseas.
Well,
The net result is that. Hold on, finish the sentence. The net result is that workers are sending roughly $150 billion out of the U.S. economy each year.
Yeah,
that money is not spent on.
Listen, I'm gonna send the money.
Yeah,
I'm gonna work here. I'm gonna landscape here. Be here legally. I'm gonna work hard. I'm not taking away your hard work. I'm not taking away the fact that it's hard work, right? You work hard, but then you get the money. You 37 of y'all live in one house, right? And I'm from New York. I live in Long Island. I see this everywhere. It's 37 of y'all in one house. It's 19 trucks outside, right? It's 19 trucks outside. It's 37 people living in the house. Everybody get a paycheck and everybody eat minimally, live minimally, stack that money up and go back to where they're from and send all that money home.
Well, here's my other thing, right? As a result, this money is not spent on goods or services in the U.S. It's not subject to sales tax, excise tax, restaurant tax. Neither the vast majority of the states nor the federal governments impose a tax on overseas money transfer. The loss of tax revenue that could be used to pay for a large number of public services is consumed by aliens in the U.S. is staggering. A Gallup poll in 2011 showed 10% of households in 35 countries rely solely on income from family members or friends who reside in the U.S. That is scary, bro. That is absolutely scary. The fact that you have entire households in foreign countries that are relying on money from the United States and in large part to people in our country illegally. Now, let me ask this question, Ra. Let me just throw this out there for you. I just want to see if this makes sense. If you live in a country where you feel like the country's not up to par and you want to come here and you want to educate yourself and do better, why not go back to your country once you acquire the education that you need to make your country better? Why stay here?
Because it's free.
I mean,
because it's free. Yo,
where do we go to do that, though? Where, as American citizens, do we get to go run up in somebody's joint illegally and get all the benefits? And
here's my other issue with this, real quick, closing this out. Here's my other issue with this. $150 billion a year, there should not be homeless veterans. There should not be starving children, American children. There should not be people that have fought for this country, and regardless of their drug use or mental stability or any of these other issues, when you serve this country, and especially the people that went overseas and did a bunch of, that have actual legitimate, service. When I say legitimate, I mean people that have a need to rely on the VA system and these other systems that are in place. There shouldn't be a need for our veterans to suffer. There should be no reason our veterans are in the condition that they're in. That just doesn't make any sense with all the money that's available that you guys are giving to people. And real quick, this doesn't make us inhuman, because we're saying, hey, why are you feeding these grown ass people? These are grown-ups. These are people that were in their country and they got the call that, hey, you can come here to this shiny place and get some free stuff and we'll take care of you. These people aren't coming from, so I don't want to get too deep into it, but it doesn't make sense that the people here in this country suffer the way they do. And it doesn't make sense when you're giving, now we're talking, if that report was from 2019 at 150 billion a year, so we're 2021, 22, so we're approaching $1 trillion. We're approaching $1 trillion.
That doesn't even make, like, I can't wrap my brain around what $1 trillion is.
Well, 5 million a day in New York alone. So let's just call it what it is. 5 million a day in New York City alone. So
yeah, let's just say that's happening in every major city. Jesus. Yeah, we're going to take a quick commercial break here on Top of the Morning, ladies and gentlemen. Don't go nowhere. We got one more story to cover for y'all this morning, and we'll be right back.
This episode of Top of the Morning is brought to you by Edward Jones financial advisor Kelly Harmon. providing you with well-researched guidance backed by Edward Jones' extensive team and technology that help you prepare for retirement, children's education, or other financial goals. Call 252-473-1006 or visit the link on the screen. All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the top of the morning right here on the Urban Conservative. Please do us a favor, hit the like, follow, subscribe, and real quick, head over to the website that you see on your screen right now. tuconservative.com is the website. We're on all streaming platforms. We're on all podcast apps. And if we're not on something, please let us know so we can make it our job to get on that. Mitch McConnell's in the hospital, bro. He fell at a hotel. Mitch fell.
I don't mean to be rude or nothing. Like,
okay,
I'm
so
not being
on to the next
ageist.
story. Hold on, stop. Now that we know Mitch fell, next story. Okay, Mitch is in the hospital. Okay, this is what we're gonna do right here. We're gonna go with this. We're gonna go with this. We're gonna go with this right here.
Governor makes minister. Go ahead, bro. Just go ahead. I can't even.
A refuge for doctors to provide genital and chemical. I'm not even going to say those words because that'll be a reason for somebody to be like, they talking about and try to know. Yeah. But y'all see what's on the screen. You see it. Yes. This is what's happening. Now, Minnesota Governor Tim Walz, he's a Democrat, signed an executive order Thursday making his state a refuge state for persons seeking quote-unquote transgender surgeries and drugs, and the doctors willing to prescribe them. Today, Minnesota joins other states, and this is a quote from him. Today, Minnesota joins other states and a growing number of municipalities that have acted in solidarity with the alphabet community. The order states, we stand with this community by maintaining a refuge for those who seek and provide gender-affirming healthcare services. In doing so, Walz has directed that all state agencies, to the fullest extent of their lawful authority to protect people and entities providing, assisting, seeking, or obtaining such treatment. He is also ordering various departments to issue joint administrative bulletins to health insurance companies regarding insurance coverage of purportedly medically necessary drugs. All right, gentlemen, ladies, we're at a time where the government is now, local government is sanctioning chopping off of and mutilating of young people. Now, either these people are, and I can't make Ali, I don't want to make this a spiritual thing because that's just not
It
what
is,
I want to
though.
make. No,
It is.
stop.
It is.
No, because the minute you bring all the spirituality into it, we leave the realm of psychology. We leave the realm of the psychological phenomenon that's directly responsible for this type of thinking. So the minute we put
that's
it on,
fair. That's fair, but this is still
but
evil.
it makes all right, cool. But what I'm saying,
chopping off and mutilating children is evil.
Hold on a second.
Psychology, all you want. That's evil.
Hold on. No. Not that part. The psychology part that I'm talking about is this. What's going on in this man's mind process and his thought process that would determine that it's okay to chop off a young man's situation or to, do something to the private parts of a young woman, that may have, I'm a tomboy, I think I'm a tomboy, and then go get a mastectomy or something, a double mistake. Like, you have to have something going on psychologically in you. You could say, well, he's spiritually devoid. No, because a lot of these people claim to be Christians. So the moral argument about them being Christians or not Christians and it being evil, you can't tell them they're not Christians. You can't do that. You can't tell that man he's not a whatever he is. Well, you ain't no real Christian. No. What the problem is you are operating with a psychological problem. You have a psychological issue, as most far leftists and these people do. You have to have something psychologically going on with you to believe that you can transition from one sex to the other, Ali. That's not a spiritual problem. That's a
How,
psychological
how much?
problem.
How much? Here's my question though: how many kids in Minnesota are taking advantage of this? How many
I don't.
kids are taking advantage of this?
I,
I mean, how many
I,
people are we talking about? A whole bunch of people. I'm just curious. In Minnesota, is there like a whole bunch of kids? Like, what are we talking about here? Or is this political points so that they can get their radical leftist money from the Soroses and people of the world? Because we talking about Minnesota.
well, here's the scary part. Waltz included a protection against extradition, which allows him to use discretion to decline requests for the arrest or surrender of anyone charged with a crime regarding transgender procedures in another state. So this is what I'm saying. Do you, as a man, sir, Mr. Waltz, do you, and when you look at him, Ali, you see him on the screen, right? You see this guy?
Mm-hmm.
You see this guy? Here's the issue. And I know this is gonna sound a little ageist, right? You gotta consider something. These people in
He's
the
only
fourth,
58. He's only
all right,
58.
all right, yeah, he's not a regular 58, bro. That ain't no regular 58. That ain't a regular 58. That's a little
Are you
heavy
saying
58.
that's not a
Bro,
that's
he's
not
clearly in the
good
he's
a good
clearly
black
in
don't
the
crack 58?
yo, bro, he's clearly in the third period if this was hockey. He's clearly in the fourth quarter, right? As is Joe Biden, as is Mitch and all of these other people. Their concern for the future isn't in a what you guys in a spiritual sense would say is in a really good place, like a spiritual place. They don't care about the future. They don't care about the next generation. They only care about the steak they can eat, the benefits they can gain, the money that they can amass, and they don't care about. I mean, clearly, because some of the decisions, right? The decision to put a piece of legislation in place or an executive order in place saying it's okay to come here and chop your Peter off. It's okay to come here and get a double mastectomy because you think you're a boy. It's okay to remove your ovaries and do all of these different things. In 10 years, when you feel like, oh, maybe I was just going through a phase, you can't get that back. They can't sew it. They can't sew them back on. They can't put the ovaries
That
back.
is correct.
They can't put them back in.
You can't. It is very difficult, if at all, to reverse any of that stuff.
And again, it is absolutely. If we wanted to talk about it on a spiritual level, I don't think there would be a justification that anybody in that community could make for this standing. There's no justification. If we took it out of politics and just said, let's talk about this from a moral, spiritual, whatever point of view, then there's absolutely no way you could condone this. There's no way you could co-sign it. There's some arguments that they've tried, Ali, like, but even what's his name? Isaac was getting ready to sacrifice his baby for the Lord. There's some really wild arguments. That about killing the babies, but it's in the Bible or the Bible. so that's why that's why I said let's not take it there, because if we just take it to the point where, listen, we talking about mutilating children, we don't need to make it spiritual. We need to make this like, what does that tell people? So now we'll keep an eye on this because we are interested to see how many people go there. Why would you need to put an extradition clause unless you're worried about people getting in trouble when they go back to, like, what are you worried about?
I'm almost curious if this guy is on the Epstein Island list. I'm almost curious.
Yikes.
I'm
very
almost curious.
Possibly could be. Very well could be. But listen, ladies and gentlemen, this has been our show.
Hey,
for
hold
Thursday,
on.
March
Hold
9th.
on.
March 9th.
Hold on. We got one other thing I need to talk about real quick in this last minute, right? We are keeping our eyes on the situation in Rocky Mount. We haven't let go of that. I know there's been some recent sparring with the city council about funding. And one of the interesting things,
I'm pulling it up now.
They have this city councilman is saying, we've been fighting for this for 20 years because some of the other city council members have questions regarding how funding is being allocated. There are subcommittees of the city council that are meeting, not following open meeting laws. There's no way on the planet you're supposed to have a subcommittee giving away grant money and there is no meeting minutes. There's no public notification of the meeting. There's no public input to these meetings. These are things that we have to keep our eyes on, and we're definitely going to look at this one. And basically, this is in regards to what you all see on the screen. The city council gave a 5-2 vote to okay a place of worship to construct a new house in the Holly Street area instead of rehabilitating the present structure at the same site. But if you scroll down into this article, what you're going to find out is that there's a city council member lodged an objection to this. Okay, he lodged an objection based on the fact that there was no Liga Daughtry already made it clear he votes against awarding the grants because he has nothing against the proposed projects being presented. His position is that there was no front-end transparency by the subcommittee, which recommended awarding council housing incentive grants in January of last year. He's also said he believes that there are no policies and procedures for the grant. Now, the problem that we're having is these folks are doing things in the dark that are impacting the tax dollars in Rocky Mount.
During
Do you
the
see this?
February 27th council regular meeting, Daughtry made clear that when the subcommittee gets together again, there needs to be a public announcement in advance of the subcommittee meeting, and there need to be minutes of the meeting. Daughtry also said the public needs to know how to apply for the grants, which is something we taught here on the Urban Conservative Show. Daughtry is correct. And for that simple reason, we don't have the process. Daughtry said of his take of the situation has nothing to do with me voting no. It has to do with me voting with any entities. It has everything to do with the lack of process. All right, well, we're going to keep our eyes on
Andre Knight says this. This is the kind of problem we have. This is the hiccup. Knight said that there's an organization such as East End that provided itself community. Someone nitpicks a piece of paper. He said this is what he and others have had to fight through for the past 20 years to get progress on the east side of the city. I'm calling you know what on that. We're going to follow this some more. Knight said one can look at city council minutes, etc. We're going to definitely keep following this story about what's happening in Rocky Mount here on the Urban Conservatives. Ladies and gentlemen, we are not going to let this go. We're going to keep our eyes on this. And I'm just telling you, stay tuned right here to the Urban Conservative, because we've got more coming up on this and many other very impactful stories, things that y'all need to know about. We will see you guys tomorrow morning right back here for Top of the Morning. As always, for my twin brother Raheem Architect Soto, I'm Abdul Ali. We want you all to have a positive, productive, and powerful day. See y'all tomorrow morning for Top of the Morning. Peace. This season of the Urban Conservative Podcast is brought to you by Newton for Senate, working to improve education, reduce taxes, and keep North Carolina #1 for business. Find out more at newtonforsenate.com. This episode of the Urban Conservative has also been sponsored by Case Technology Consulting. Help your business get value out of its data and become more efficient and streamlined. Case Technology Consulting. Check out the link in the description.